Thank you, Anna. Amazing sight, wasn't it? And the weather did us proud too, although about a couple of hours ago it did cloud over, but it stayed dry and it stayed fine. It did start off jolly chilly though. I'm sure people making that early start must have noticed that. But the temperature did dip down to about -8 or so in some parts of the country. Even in southern England we saw -5, but it is changing now. The winds are beginning to pull around to the south. We're getting some weak weather fronts heading up our way as well. And by the middle of the week, the weather will have changed again. It's going to become unsettled, which means to say often wet and windy. So we have those southerly winds. Those winds are going to be with us, more than perhaps of a southwesterly eventually, and some quite largish arrows. So every now and again it will turn out to be fairly windy. Now the cloud that came through London a couple of hours or so ago is continuing to trundle northward, so it will cloud over across a good part of Wales, through into the Midlands and East Anglia during the afternoon. Just the outside chance perhaps of the odd spot of rain, but most places will stay dry. We still have some lingering fog too in parts of northern England. That could last all afternoon, but basically for northern areas it should be dry and sunny once again, except for the far north of Scotland, where we run into more in the way of cloud. But as I said, if those fog patches linger, temperatures around freezing, and a jolly cold afternoon everywhere else actually. 4 or 5 degrees, best temperatures in most places. Now there will still be some breaks in the cloud around this evening. That means to say it's quite likely the temperatures could take a tumble in many parts of the country with some frost. But as the cloud continues to move northwards and eases in from the west as well, temperatures as the night wear on I think will continue to rise, so that by the end of the night we're really only going to be left with frost I think in the northeastern slice of the country. Temperatures there below freezing, 1 or 2 fog patches to go with it as well, but by the end of the night temperatures above freezing again in many of those central, southern and western parts. The reason? Well, we'll have that cloud. As I said, if there are any breaks at all, just going to be in that northeastern corner. The odd break, I suppose, elsewhere, so it could be a little bit misty and murky for a time. Tomorrow looks set to be a cloudier day again than we've seen just recently. Fair amount of cloud floating around, some thicker cloud coming up this western side to bring some outbreaks of rain up to parts of Northern Ireland and western Scotland. The odd spit and spot elsewhere, but most places again will be dry. And I think the sun will be breaking through. Best sunshine probably in the southeastern corner of the country. And you'll notice it milder too in many places, although still on the chilly side in the northeast there. And then things begin to change on Wednesday. Start off quite bright in southeastern parts, but wet and windy weather sweeping across all areas. And it looks as if through Thursday and into Friday, basically unsettled weather, which means spells of rain working their way across just about all areas, some of it quite heavy. Northern Scotland missing the worst of it. Back now to Anna.